All right, hello everybody. This is the Collector, and this is going to be a video about Mechstrike. Mechstrike is a supplemental for the Mechwarrior Age of Destruction and Mechwarrior Dark Age clicks game. The original rules were dubious and not really fun to play, so my supplemental should be used and considered as a kind of update to the sequence of play and not any major changes to dials, stats, abilities, etc. If you want more information on the kind of the tidbits and details of Mechstrike, go ahead and check out the PDF document that I uploaded on the Battletech 3028 group, the Battletech for Conservatives page, and feel free to DM me if you want a copy. For this video, I'm just going to run you through gameplay so you can see how the game actually plays using my system. And I guess the best way to do it is just to show you. So I've got the Mechwarrior Age of Destruction 2-player starter set out. What you see in front of you is what you get in the box. You get 2 forces. You get a blue team and a red team, essentially. You get some 21st Centauri Lancers, a Mangonel mech, a hover tank, and 3 infantry choices. For the Wolf's Dragoon side, you get a Jade Hawk, a tank, and 3 infantry choices. For starting out, I'll just run you through the sequence of play. So if you haven't read the Mechstrike documents that I've uploaded, just kind of watch and you'll see sort of how we do things here. So first thing you'll do is both players will take their sets of 3 d6s, all right, and then give one to your opponent. You take the other one. You've got 2 d6 that will be the same color, 1 that will be kind of an off color. I don't know if you can see it, but there's 2 red ones and an orange one. And then for the other team, we'll have 2 green ones and 1 yellow one. First, you'll roll for initiative. Wolf's Dragoon's got a 6. 21st Centauri Lance has got a 1. So when you win initiative, you get to decide who moves first. So you can make your opponent move a unit first, or you can move a unit first. So this is where some of the differences come into play between Mechstrike and the original Clicks game. In the original Clicks game, you give order tokens dependent on how many points you're playing at, on multiples of 150 points. We don't do that with Mechstrike. In Mechstrike, it's similar to Alpha Strike, where every unit gets to move and shoot. You can also elect to do a 3rd action for mechs, not for tanks or infantry, and that is because mechs have a heat dial. I've retained the heat dial system, and how we'll do it here is, say I want to do a standard walking movement. You'll take the movement stat, which for the Jade Hawk here is 8 with a sky blue box, which means he has jump jets. That means he can jump over water terrain or any kind of hindering terrain without a +1 inch modifier. So just like in Battletech or Alpha Strike, where you're moving through rough terrain, you get cost 2 movement points to move through that terrain. It would cost 2 inches to move through hindering terrain, but if you have the little sky blue symbol, that means you get to jump over stuff and it won't count against you. Another benefit of the Clicks game is you don't get a penalty to hit for doing a jump. You just jump. If I remember correctly, let's read here. Got my little printout. Jump jets. So the unit ignores figure bases and terrain for movement purposes, though it still cannot occupy blocking terrain at the end of the move. This unit fails to break away only on a result of 1. If this unit is a mech, it cannot use the run option, but it can attempt a death from above special attack. So there's no penalty to jump jetting in clicks. And there won't be in Mechstrike either. So I'm going to elect to move him. I'm going to have him do a run or a double movement. So how you do that is you will give him 2 marker tokens, not order tokens, marker tokens. And I'm going to measure out, double his move, which should be 16. But his pilot card actually gives him +2 to his movement. So technically, instead of 16, he gets 18. And then you could do it that way, or you can say it adds +2 to his standard movement ×2. That they really don't clarify it. Just make sure you agree with your opponent. We'll go 18. He's going to get right up in these guys' faces. Measure from center of the miniature. Gonna hide behind this building over here. You know what? These stretchy rulers don't really work that well, do they? Just gonna go over there. We're gonna give them 2 order tokens. So I won initiative. I decided to move first. That's my first activation. And then you will rotate with your opponent. Your opponent will decide what unit he's going to activate. Something else about Click's game is you can move formations. Up to 5 units can move in a formation using the slowest unit's movement. So what we'll do is we'll have the vehicles and infantry all move into formation, and they all have to be touching the base. So as long as they're touching bases and ending touching their bases, they should be fine. Let's see, the slowest moving unit here is 5 inches. So let's go ahead and do that. And let's grab the actual tape measure, since we want to be a little fancy. All right, from the center, they're going to move up here, and it'll be a standard movement. And because they're all moving in formation, you can just kind of eyeball sort of everyone moving in formation together. And for the purposes of this, to demonstrate that they all moved in a formation, you can simply give everyone a single marker token. What I like to do is I'll just give everyone a marker token because they all moved together. So they just counted as moving together as a formation. All right, it's back to me. And I'm going to do the same thing for the Wolf's Dragoons. Wolf's Dragoons is going to move a formation using their slowest guy, which for us here is 6. So Tank Boy is going to move up. Measuring from the center, moving up. Kind of want to face him. Note the firing arcs. If the little semicircle doesn't go all the way around back, then that's behind the firing arc. And then you also have a rear arc, which is you have a white semicircle and a gray semicircle. The gray is typically your rear arc, which gives an opponent +2 to their attack roll. And we'll get to that when we get to that. All right, and moving all the infantry up in formation. And then let's give them all a marker token that they moved. And again, the reason why he got 2 is because when you run, you count that as 2 actions. All right, that leaves our opponent and his mech. Now, again, in Alpha Strike, when you lose initiative, typically you have to finish first. That's not how it works in Mechstrike, and I will demonstrate to you why. So the Mangonel will go up. Let's see, he has a movement modifier of +1, so he actually can move 9. And let's put him right up against the Jadehawk's face. And again, he didn't do a run or a double move, so he gets to only get a single order token or marker token. All right, so movement phase is complete. All right. If you're confused why I'm not doing things like the clicks game, it'll make sense. All right, it'll make sense, I promise. So I won initiative, right? That means I get to shoot with all of my units first. Now, why do I get to shoot with all of my units? In Alpha Strike, the initiative loser has to shoot first, right? Well, in Alpha Strike, you don't have dials that degrade your unit stats over time. So when you take damage, you just account for the damage after everyone shoots simultaneously. In the clicks game, all right, you don't, you're not going to be memorizing or forced to memorize stuff. I don't want you to have to memorize what the dial said before you took damage. What you're going to do is simply, when you win initiative, you just pick who moves first, but you always get to shoot first with all of your units. That way, the initiative winner gets to degrade the dials, the health dials, of all the enemy units that they target with an attack. So we're going to start doing that. I'm going to first activate my Jade Hawk by giving him a third order. Because he ran, he's a little bit warmer. Giving a unit a third marker token will give them a spin of the heat dial, just one. And I'm going to select the ballistic weapon, which gives me 3 damage if I hit, 0 to 8 inch range. The Jade Hawk's attack roll rating is 9, plus the pilot's attack rating of +1, which means I have a 10. All right, so that's my, think of it like in Alpha Strike, that's like your skill. That's your skill rating that you start with during your to hit rolls. All right. There's no range modifiers, there's no TMM modifiers, but there is a defense roll. He's going to target the Mangonel. The Mangonel has a 20 on his defense. Plus, the pilot adds a 1, giving that mech a total defensive roll of 21. So, my Jade Hawk has a 10 attack roll. The Mangonel has a 21 defense roll. That means I need 11s or better on 3d6. Now, how this works, how attacking works in this game, in both the Classic and Mechstrike, all right, is you have 2 same color dice and you have a off-color dice. The off-color dice is called a critical die. The critical die, if it lands on a 6, doesn't matter if your other 2 are snake eyes and you don't total the 11 or above to hit. The 6 is an auto hit and it's a crit, meaning that you'll do damage based on the damage value of the weapon system you're shooting, +1. If you roll a 1 on your crit dice, but your other 2 are boxcars, doesn't matter that you rolled boxcars with the other 2. This is an auto fail, and you actually take 1 point of damage to your unit. So think of it like the weapon jammed and the round exploded in the chamber, something like that. All right. So we need 11s. My Jade Hawk will fire, and we get a 6, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, that's a hit. Didn't get a crit, but we got a hit. Now, I'm shooting with ballistics. The Mangonel has 21 to his defense. We hit, but he also has red on his defense. Red on defense means reflective armor. So you decrease by 2 any damage scored by range attacks using the energy range type. Luckily for us, we're using the ballistic range type. So his defense ability doesn't do jack. So he'll take his full 3. And yes, I am lifting him off the table. Honor system, people. So 1, 2, 3 damage. He is now degraded. Put him back somewhat where he was. That completes. Now, if the GMs allow it, the GMs can allow a 4th order, because mechs do have 2 weapon systems. This will allow in Mechstrike for you to essentially alpha strike and run, but you will incur at a minimum 2 heat due to the fact that you needed 2 orders to run, 1 to fire 1 of your weapon systems, and then a second for a total of 4. And then you gain those 2 heat. And that's not counting any heat that you might get from opponents shooting at you. We'll get to that too. I'm gonna choose not to shoot again. I'm just, and I really can't anyway, because his primary weapon is a 0-inch to 0-inch range close quarter combat weapon, and we're definitely not within base to base contact. So that is the end of his shooting. Now I've got these guys. Now, what I can do, since I'm still in my shooting phase, I'm the initiative winner, I can fire all of these infantry if they're within range to our targets here, or I can do what's called a formation ranged attack. So formation ranged attack, and this is in the original rules. If you moved in a formation and do a ranged attack, it is the only time in the original Clicks game where you won't suffer a pushing damage for doing 2 actions with a unit. This being the tank moving and then shooting. And that is because just the way the rules are written here, they kind of encourage you to move in formations when you're using tanks and infantry. But in Mechstrike, all the units can do a move and a shot. It's just a matter of what benefit and bonus do you want, and is everything in range? Well, so we have the, what is this called? This little quad battle armor. He has a range of 8 inches. Let's see. Is he within range of the mangonel? Yeah, he is. Let's see. Our PAL infantry are not quite. And then our Pathfinders are not quite to the center. So we've got the tank. He's in range. His range is 12. The quad battle armor, he is within range. These 2 infantry are not. So I've got a couple choices here. For the guys that are not in range, I can do, again, what's called a formation ranged attack. When I do that, I sacrifice their shooting by giving them like a spotting order. And what that'll do is it'll increase the shooting unit's attack rating by 1 per unit that is spotting. So I can do this if they are in range of that target. They are not, so I can't do it this turn, but I can use our quad battle armor. So he's going to spot the mangonel, adding 1 +1 to the tank's attack. The tank's attack rating is 9. That'll bump up to 10. So I will have a 10 starting off to hit. The mangonel, now that he is degraded, his defense is down to 19, meaning or +1 with his pilot, that's 20. So 10 minus 20 is 10. I need 10s or better. Ooh. And we got a crit. So even if I didn't make these, right, that means it's an auto crit. His attack rating is 3. His damage rating for his attack is 3. That is an energy weapon. Let's see, does he still have his reflective armor? No, he does not. And it is energy with the black color, which means Alpha Strike, optional. When this unit makes a ranged combat attack against a single opposing target figure, turn its heat dial until it is shut down. keep track of the number of turns needed to reach shutdown. If the attack succeeds, this unit gets plus X to its damage value, where X equals the number of heat dials turn needed to reach shutdown. So I'm not going to use this optional ability. However, know that you can if you want to put the hurt on your buddies. But for this, we're just going to do the 3 damage. And he has no reflective armor anymore, as indicated by no red square on his defense, which is that one right there on your upper left, but on your opponent's lower right-hand side. He's going to take 3 hits. So 1, 2, 3. All right. And because the other 2 infantry couldn't fire, that is it for my shooting phase. Back to the opponent. So my opponent now gets to fire back with a degraded mech and a formation of infantry and armor. He's going to decide to return fire with what he has left against the Jade Hawk, turning his turret. You don't have to do this, but I mean, yeah, I think it looks cool. Measuring out to see if he's within range. He is definitely within range for both attacks. He will take advantage and shoot twice, which means he'll get 1 order for the first shot, and on his second firing order, or third marker token, it will indicate that he will have to take a heat. So let's just get that out of the way. Now his attack rating is 7. Pilot attack rating gives him a +1, so that goes to 8. The Jade Hawk's defense is 20. I can't read that. Is that 20? That's 20. And the pilot gives him a +1, so that goes up to 21. So Mangonel has an 8. Defense is 21. Let's see. How good am I at here? I think he needs 13. 13 or better. Ooh, would you look at that? I am rolling hot today. So, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It still would have hit, but that yellow 6 gives him a critical hit, which adds +1 to his damage. And let's see, let's go with the hardest hitting shot first, which is his is that 2 energy weapons? No, that's his ballistic. Okay, ballistic does 3 + 1. Jade Hawk will take 4 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, that was a nasty hit. But we're not done yet, because the Mangonel is going to fire his other weapon. We recheck the defensive roll and see if there was any modifications there. He's down to 19 now from 20 + 1. That's 20 instead of 21. Same to hit, 8 instead of 13s. We need 12s. Holy moly, free holy. Do you see that? Do you see that? I never roll this hot in real games, man. Only when I'm playing myself. All right, well, he's going to do 2 damage +1. Since he already fired his ballistic weapon, we can't use that damage rating. We have to use the damage rating of the weapon system he didn't shoot, which is 2, but thanks to that critical, that's a +1. Our man, the Jade Hawk, takes 3 more damage. 1, 2, 3. Man, that is a brutal attack. All right, but we aren't done yet. The Ziebler Fast Strike Tank is going to do his shooting. He's got a range of 0 to 8. Let's see, can he reach? Yes, he can. The Salamander Battle Armor has 8 inches. He can also reach our man over there. The LRM Battery has 12 inches. Oh, yeah. And the Undine Battle Armor also have 8. That one will not quite make it, but we've got 2 out of 3 infantry that can boost the shooting score of that tank. So what we'll do is we'll take the shooting score of the tank, which is 9, plus 1 plus 2. So that'll give us an 11 to hit. The Jade Hawk's defense now is 18. So let's see. Let's do math properly again. Let's see. 9, 10, 11. That's, what is that? 18 minus 11? 7? Got that right? Yeah, 7. All right. So we need a 7 to hit with our tank firing on the Jade Hawk for 3 and getting the boost. So we need 7s. Let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hey, 8 did it. And he'll do 3 damage. Ay, ay, ay. Good Lord. 1, 2, 3. I don't think he's looking that great. All right, now, here's something fun. The Zibbler has a red marker on his little symbology here. Let's see, is that energy or ballistic? That's ballistic. See, so if it was energy, what vehicles can do that mechs can't do is fire their pulse weapons without suffering any kind of heat damage. But if it's a red ballistic armor piercing, well, our Jade Hawk didn't have any armor to negate. And that is it. That is turn 1. So, as you saw, the winner of the initiative got to shoot first and degrade enemy units first. But, as luck would have it, the opposing team, the opponent, was able to roll really hot and still scored a crap load of damage on our poor Jade Hawk over here. All right, so now we clean up all of our order tokens / marker tokens, and we will set up for turn 2. All right. Wolf Dragoons will roll initiative first. 21st Centauri Lancers roll second. 21st Centauri Lancers wins the initiative. Now, 21st Centauri Lancers player decides to make the Wolf Dragoons move first, and that is what Wolf Dragoons will have to do. Wolf Dragoons will activate the armor formation using the slowest unit, which is the 6. And they're just going to get right up in there. Avoiding and moving around the blocking terrain, which cannot be overpassed. Let's get this guy a little bit closer. As long as the units are touching the base, they are considered in formation. If that means that you're moving some guys a little bit further than what they maybe should be able to move, I don't really care as long as they're touching bases with the armor. Think of it like they got on top of the tank and they were riding on it. You know, be cool, make it fun. All right, well, let's turn his firing arc a little more. Let's see that little semicircle. I want him kind of pointed that way. All right, and then we're going to give them all their order tokens. All right, now it's back to the 21st Centauri Lancer's turn. They're going to move their armored force as well with a movement of 5 as their minimum movement. It's not going to go all the way, but it's about to be a nice little brawl here. Okay, and then they're also going to get their order tokens. All right, back to the Wolf's Dragoons. So our Jade Hawk is damaged pretty badly. He lost his ballistic weapon, and all he has is his melee attack. Now, in Mechstrike, I've got a little surprise for people. So, let's say you have your Jadehawk. He's lost his main hard-hitting weapon. He's taken so much damage that his close range attack only does 1. Now, you can choose to do a charge or just go to base contact, which will tie up an opponent mech or vehicle. Whenever you guys get into base-to-base contact, you have to do something called the breakaway roll. So on the opponent's turn, if they haven't moved that unit yet, if they want to move away from a unit with something like a really powerful hatchet or close range attack number, you would have to roll a breakaway roll. If you don't breakaway, you can choose a free spin, but you're still stuck in base-to-base contact, and you essentially moved that turn. However, in Mechstrike, we have something called a desperation attack. Desperation attacks are my answer to what happens when your dial goes to salvage. Now, what is that? What is, I don't know what you're talking about, Collector. What are you talking about? So salvage is when the dial isn't dead yet, but your shooting rating goes to 0. So some dials, some of these click mechs, whenever they take enough damage, they may take so much damage that they look like this, where the attack rating is in a black square and the weapons ratings are 0. So essentially this unit can't really do anything. But with the desperation attack, that 6 is still counting, or 5 is still going to count as an attack roll, and you can do something called a ram or mech stomp. Ramming for vehicles, mech stomp for mechs. What that means is I can still move him 5 inches towards somebody and declare a mech stomp. Now what that'll do is I'll roll my to hit during the shooting phase. If I won initiative, I get to resolve his desperation attack first, meaning he gets to run up and punt somebody or run up and kick another mech. If he does that, he gets to roll his rolls. Now, let's say the defense of the unit he's attacking is way too high, and even on 3d6, he's just not going to make it. Okay, doesn't matter. Roll anyway, because if you get a crit, you will hit, and you'll get that +1, which on a desperation attack, a 2 goes to 3. So, that being said, I've got options. My Jadehawk can either select to do the standard melee attack, which will do 1 damage, or I can make him do a desperation attack. Now, you can't do both. You can't do a standard attack and a desperation attack. You either do a desperation attack and that's it, or you take your chances with a standard movement, run, and a shoot or standard melee attack. I'm going to go ahead and show you what a desperation attack does. What you do is you move up to the max movement or running. I didn't have to run or move double, so I just moved up. He just needs 1, takes no heat, nothing like that. All right. Now, we're not resolving attacks or anything yet. The Mangonel hasn't moved. He's going to attempt a breakaway because he wants to avoid getting hit by that desperation attack. So mechs need a 3 or better. And he does not break away, as he got a 1. So our friend checks his facing, makes sure that he's not on the rear arc, and he prepares himself to tank a desperation attack. All right, all units have moved, and now because the 21st Century Lancers won the initiative, they get to shoot first. Again, unlike Classic and Alpha Strike, being in base-to-base contact does not prevent you from firing your long-range weapons at a target as long as your minimum range, as long as you don't have a minimum range on that weapon system. Now, the Mangonel has 2 long-range weapons, one with a 2-inch minimum range, so we can't use that. But he does have a 0 to 10 energy weapon he can do, which we will do that right now. So we will take our 2 green and 1 yellow. Mangonel attack number is 7. His pilot is +1, so he'll be at an 8 attack. Our Jade Hawk, who is doing a desperation attack, hasn't reached him yet, because remember, he lost initiative. His defense is 17 against an 8. That is 9s or better. And we get a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ooh, not quite. All right. Well, that sucks. Now, Collector, wait. He didn't get to shoot, but can't he do like a melee attack? Or, well, if the Mangonel didn't declare a charge or a desperation attack or some other kind of melee attack that doesn't require a close combat weapon on his dial, then yeah, sure, he could have done that, but he didn't. And so that is the end of our friend, the Mangonel. His actions he can take. Let's see if we can fire the armor formation at these other guys over here. Now, can tanks fire on mechs that are in base-to-base contact with other units? Yes, I believe you can, but there might be a penalty. Let's see. Let's reread. The target cannot be in base contact with one of your other units. Lines of fire drawn to or from mechs are blocked only by other mech bases. The target is within range and a line of fire is clear. Make an attack roll using the 3 6-sided dice and add the attacker's attack value. You know what? We're just going to say that they can if they choose to shoot. So we're going to have the Zibbler support his friend the Mangonel just before getting schmackily dacked by the Jade Hawk's claw. And he's definitely within range. Oh yeah, easy. And so is the infantry. All of the infantry, in fact, are within range. So our friend the Zibbler tank will fire using all 3 of his infantries to boost his shooting score. So his 9 attack number will be boosted by 10, 11, 12. And no pilot, of course, but 12 against a defensive rating of 17. Our little friend only needs a 5, and hopefully he doesn't crit himself. Oh, I said it and it happened. So look at what happened. He needed a 7. He got a 5 and a critical fail. What happens when you critically fail? Even if they were spotting, they won't get hurt because they didn't shoot anything. But our friend the tank did. So he will take 1 point of damage for his failure. Oh, the loader dropped the round in the tank and it went off and blew his loader buddy up inside. Oh no, oh well. We've got other conscripts that can get in and help. The tank survived. All right, well, that is the end of our shooting for the initiative winners. Let's now resolve our desperation attack by the Wolf's Dragoons. Our Jadehawk did the desperation attack. His attack rating is a 6 at the moment. His pilot gives him a +1, that's 7. The opponent is the Mangonel. His defense rating is 18 plus 1 because of his pilot, so 19. So we're looking at, let's see, 19. 12s or better on the desperation attack. 5, 6, 7, 8. Not quite. And so our friend did a desperation attack. He failed. When you fail a desperation attack, you still take 1 damage. Now that was a gamble. He could have just used his standard melee attack, but it would have only done 1 damage. The desperation attack would have done 2. But when you do a desperation attack, you're kind of just tackling an enemy. You're using your mech or vehicle's frame to do the damage. And so you're going to be taking damage yourself. And unfortunately, he failed that one. But we still have our tank and infantry formation. I believe they are all within range. Let us double check. That's within 6, that's within 8, that's within 8, and that's definitely within 12. Our tank will be utilizing all of these buddies to boost his to-hit score. That is a to-hit number of 9, 10, 11, 12. Defensive rating of 18 plus 1 for the pilot, which is 19. So 19 minus 12 is 7. Our tank needs a 7 or better. Oh, could you look at that? Oh, man. 3, 4, 5, 6. Failed, but a critical fail. What does that mean? That means our boy in the tank takes a damage. Self-inflicted wounds. Ah! All right. That is the end of turn 3. I hope you get the gist of what we're doing here. So I'm going to sort of stop the demonstration there. You kind of see where I'm going, right? We've got every unit can move, every unit can shoot. We've got desperation attacks. We're still using the dials. We're still using the heat. We've got a system that lets you vent heat still. So let's say I didn't want to do any attacks with my Jade Hawk. I just wanted him to move. I could have just had him stay where he was, move somewhere else, and then do a vent order, which would have vented his heat down back to standard. I mean, it really wouldn't have benefited much because he doesn't have any shooting weapons anymore, any ranged weapons, just his close combat weapon. You've got the tanks. They could also do desperation attacks. The only thing that can't do a desperation attack is infantry. Maybe I'll add a kamikaze, just throw bodies at people and see if, you can explode yourself and do damage. I don't know if I want to go that far, but I mean, if you want to do that and add that to Mechstrike, be my guest, Allah Akbar, right? So that is it. That is really all I have. I hope you enjoyed the demonstration. Hopefully I can do a little more videos. I've just been really freaking busy. So yeah, that's it. If you like what I did, go ahead and do the YouTube thing. You can leave a comment. You can tell me how much I suck. Whatever you want to do. You can share the video. If you know a friend who plays Clicky Tech and likes the Clicky Mech, show him this video. He might like this. Show them the PDF document or screenshots of the rules. And if you have any advice and you have any ideas, please feel free. Or if you've come up with your own Clicky Tech alternative system, show it to me. I'm more than happy to try it out. This kind of has been a pet project for a long time. I just never really got it out there, but now I do. So, all right, guys. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a good night, and God bless.